always looking for the right opportunity. We all get a moment with that opportunity. And right now, somewhere around you, right here, there is an opportunity waiting just for you. An opportunity that could lead you on your path for the rest of your life. As franchise Indians every day, everything we do is creating an opportunity for you. Because your growth is our business.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on this webinar called Business Opportunity Over Chai. Business Opportunity Over Chai is a webinar series presented by the management of Franchise India every day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon with an aim to introduce you to a new business opportunity. Every day, we bring exciting and high potential franchise business from across the industry. Over the past 27 years, Franchise India has proudly helped thousands of investors finding the right franchise business opportunity and successfully start their entrepreneurial journey. Franchise India, as world's largest integrated franchise solution company, our role is to ensure that your investment is safe by taking an informed decision and your journey from an investor to entrepreneur is smooth and successful. The objective of this webinar is to give you a direct opportunity to connect with the brand founders, the key stakeholders, understand the business opportunity in detail, and openly ask any sort of question which you may have related to, franchising, investment, growth, before you take the actual decision. In today's webinar, we will talk about a business opportunity with an international education platform called Kedman Global. Kedman Global is our next generation education platform focused on bringing international quality, personalized learning to India. It's a strategic joint venture between Manav Rachana Education Institutions India and Kunskapsskolan Education Sweden, combining a strong academic legacy with globally proven learning and learning methodology. The brand is built on the foundation of the Kunskapsskolan education program, which emphasizes on personalized learning, goal-based progression, and continuous student development. This approach ensures that every child learns at their own pace with structured coaching and mentorship. With over 35 years of educational expertise and a presence across multiple countries, Kedman Global brings a globally recognized model into Indian K-12 ecosystem, creating a future-ready schooling system. What makes Kedman unique is its focus on academic innovation, operational strength, and the brand credibility, enabling partners to build high-performance school with measurable outcomes and strong parent trust. To talk more about this, I'm joined with a panel from Global Kedman. We have Christian Vittel, who's the CEO of Kedman Global. We have Ms. Sunita Nambia, who's the CEO of India Kedman Global. We have Ms. Rashima V. Verma. She's the Educational Director of Kedman Global. We have Mr. Arnav Mustafi, who's the General Manager, Special Project. Mr. Vineet Gandhi, Manager, Business Development, Kedman Global, along with my colleague, George Thomas, who's a channel partner from Franchise India. Now, before I invite Arnav to take the lead, I would rather like to inform all the viewers that it's a great opportunity since the global the CEO with us today, as well as Sunita ma'am, Rashima, Vineet, Arnav. I mean, all key stakeholders are available today. It is absolutely fantastic opportunity to get all your the queries solved. If you have any question, you of course you can put it in the Q&A box, and we will take them up during the presentation. So may I now request Arnav to take the lead. Let's get started. Yep, over to you, please.
Thank you, Bharat. To take the presentation and the discussion ahead, I'd like to ask Vineet to just put the presentation, and I'll pass the baton to Sunita ma'am, who's going to start the presentation. Sunita ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon and a warm welcome to every one of you who's present here today. We all come from an organization that is established with a very strong view about our role in education and what we want to achieve through education, whether it is in the form of supporting students to become much better at who they are and what they can become. So it's about nurturing tomorrow's achievers today. I think that is where we are focusing on. The thought is, of course, is to definitely create better human beings who can contribute to the world of tomorrow. I think that is our very strong start point of why we are in the space of education. If you can move to the next slide, Beneath. We are a joint venture, Kedman Global, which is a joint venture between Manav Rachna Group of Institutions and the Kunskapsskolan group of schools, which has been in education for nearly 30 years now. It's a very strong foundation wherein the entire focus has been on being able to provide personalized education for our students. At the same time, that is being supported by a very strong operational and institutional background. So I think that drives the quality, that drives the scalability of the entire offering that we are providing to anybody who is interested in this space. Christian, would you want to talk a little bit about Kunskapsskolan? If you could move to the next slide, Vineet.
Thank you so much, Sunita. Excited to be here and be able to meet you all to display a bit of what we do. I've been fortunate enough to work with Kunskapsskolan for more than 25 years. 26 years ago, we started in Sweden. We operate around 40 schools in Sweden right now. And since more than 10 years, we've been in India, we are in the Middle East, we have partnerships in the US and UK, as well as in South America. So what we have done with Kunskapsskolan is we have a very clear, strong model I will talk a bit more about later. And we find strong partnerships in the local context to make sure that we bring international experience, clear collaborations around research, development, but at the same time having a strong drive to drive schools and education in multiple places around the world to be able to give all our leaders, students, and teachers the opportunity to really have a global but also a local experience in their learning journey. So I will come back a bit more to that. We're very excited to be here. India is now more like my second home since many years back now. So very excited to be here. Thank you, Sunita.
We wanted to talk a little bit more about the other partner in this group, which is the Manav Rachna Group of Institutions, which has been in education, and we are now in our 30th year. What is very exciting about this entire organization is the fact that we have both schools as well as higher education, and we have the entire spectrum. So whether we are talking about the K-12 schools or we're talking about undergraduate or postgraduate programs, right up till doctoral programs, this organization has created a space for itself in education in India. We've been in the length and breadth of India. So therefore, I think we have an understanding of the local context, have been very much evident in bringing up very strong alumni across India and people who have been very successful even outside India. So that stands very strongly for us. I think we've also had great collaborations happening with very many industries and organizations. So from an education point of view, the understanding of both schools as well as higher education stands very strong for us as Manav Rachna, an organization. If you can move to the next slide, Vineet. Well, you met 3 out of the 4 people who are here on the screen, so I guess that's who we are. But of course, there are very many more people who are a part of this journey or who are going to be there to mentor anybody who is interested in investing in this space. So whether it is in the space of operational excellence or in the space of academics or teacher development or technology, we are all very much strong in those spaces. If you can move to the next slide. Well, why do we call ourselves a winning formula? I think it's because it's that great combination of experience, quality, pedagogy, as well as management and operational expertise that is a very much a common and a core aspect of both Kunskapsskolan as well as Manav Rachna. And when we have combined together, we bring that to the table. If you can move to the next slide, Vineet. Thank you. I think the value proposition for us is the fact that we have a personalized learning program, which has a great blend because you have the global aspects, while at the same time, it is embedded very much strongly in the Indian context. So whether you look at understanding what India looks for or what businesses in India look for when it comes to investments in education, we are very much there because we are a part of that journey ourselves. At the same time, you also have bringing in the global context, the global understanding, and the innovation that is there in the space of education in outside India. So all of that comes together in terms of what we deliver. Given the fact that we are in over 100 plus schools in 6 different countries, the sharing of best practices is another thing that we bring to the table. And therefore, that is something that anybody who joins us gets the experience of and gets the exposure to. In a market which is very saturated by mediocrity, if I might say so, I think we stand out as something that is very, very unique and very strong. We've been in this space, we have been able to deliver personalized education and have been able to bring about great academic results for our students, both in India and outside India. And I think that stands as a testimony of all the work that we've been doing with both our students as well as our teachers. And that has, of course, then led to a higher level of retention, both of our students as well as our teachers, and a much higher level of satisfaction for anybody who's a part of this journey. If you can move to the next slide, Vineet. At the core of all of that is the KED program, which is the personalized program, and I'm going to ask Christian to take this forward.
Thank you so much, Sunita. And like you already mentioned, for us, having a model for personalized learning is not only just, for us to have a brand name or have something that you can put on the wall in your school. For us, it's about absolute high-level academic outcomes. It's about, strong personal development for every student. So for us, being, Kunskapsskolan and Kedman and Manav Rachna now working together strongly, for us, it's about, we have a proven model since 25 years of personalized learning. We have been in multiple countries. We can see that the satisfaction, even in national testing, in national surveys, is much higher in our schools compared to the average. And this is the reason for this is that we have a very structured model, because if we want to do the best type of education, if we want to do the best type of personalized learning, we need to have a model that is clearly described, which we have when it comes to personal goals, the strategies for each student, the way we work with teachers when it comes to coaching models, teaching models, but also the way we work with how we integrate curriculum into the way we coach and we teach, the way we build our schools, the way we also have our digital portfolio and the learning environment on the digital side has been built by us in collaboration with strong partners for more than 25 years. So very few can, like we can show that this, the teaching and coaching model is always enhanced by, the structure of the school, the use of time in the school, but also the role of the teacher and how we train our teachers. So for us, having this model is quite unique. And what we see when we collaborate with different curriculums and different national agencies is that they see that this enhances whatever curriculum you try to fulfill. and by that also then bringing strong academic outcome and personal development for all our students. But not only having a program like we do in Kedman, we also have a strong framework. Like you see on the outer circle here, we have a clear quality model that I will come back briefly to. We have a global network, which means that we can provide, networking and training and learning for both, school leaders, teachers, students, both on India level in this case, but also on global level with different type of exchanges, online program, and so forth. One thing that is also very, very unique for Kedman is the Kedman Academy that we have, is that we can bring training for schools in a way both adapted to what they need on their specific school level, but also with the strong university connects, the research connect that we have, that we can also provide really strong academic programs on a both national as well as global level. We also have very clear models for our management, which means that we know how to support. If someone is starting a school, we can be there to set the structure and procedures for the school management to make sure that they deliver, the program in the best, possible way. And then finally, of course, the Kedman digital team that we have. We have one of the best personalized learning digital platforms in the world. We can provide both, scheduling programs. We provide, goal setting and monitoring programs, parent communication, teacher, material. So what we can bring to a school is not only that, of course, we can give them this platform, they also actually get the support of the full network of teachers that we have both on country level as well as global level when it comes to planning and developing their teaching and learning. So I think we can do the next slide. I can go forward. So what we bring with our model then is, of course, the core of personalized learning is to create ownership. And if you look to the vision document of education in India, but also in all other modern parts of the world, you can see that, being skill focused, working with personalized learning, using digital platform, that is the way to both build ownership for students, but as well, working with that dynamic, curriculum that you need. Because it's today's world, like Sunita talked about, when we're going to bring, these students, the opportunity to go out in the world, we need for them, like we say here, be local. They need to understand the local context. They need to be trained in the skills to understand how the world works, but at the same time have very strong, ability to reflect and use all their skills that they've been given. And with working with the goal-oriented approach that we have, that really gives us the opportunity to monitor and support and drive each individual students in all these areas in a way that we know, first of all, they should reach higher than they thought they could. Second of all, we never let them down. So no student that works in a Kedman school will ever be let down and just, fall through the system, because the monitoring system we have is one of the strongest you have ever seen. So next one, Vinette, please. So I've been talking about the academic side. We have a strong program for that. But equally important now in the modern education is the different type of skilling programs that we have. So in Kedman, we have a wide range of, like you see here, Media Shala, Maker Shala, and the Fashion Shala, but also develop, the physical side on the sports and well-being programs. This together with our 21st century skill programs give, the full range of skills that students need, not only to succeed in academics, but also being able to take on the different challenges that we all know is waiting for them when they come out to the real world. Both, of course, being good at your job, but also creating your community and your family. So I think this for us is core, that, a student that leaves, a Kedman school feels that they're fully equipped both on the academic side as well when it comes to the skilling side. Because those are the type of human beings we want to create, and those are the type of human beings we need in society. So I think we can do next, Vinette. So finally I'm sitting here and saying that I think we have one of the best programs in the world, but the reason for that is also we have a very strong quality model. And this is a model that we work with a lot of national inspectorate in different countries. We've a lot of researchers, because in the end, we as Kedman Global are responsible for that any school are supported by this quality model that makes sure that all these areas that we have on this picture are driven by, good follow-up, good, monitoring when it comes to both academic numbers as well as satisfaction of students, leaders, teachers, and so forth. So what we have done with this model that we have operated now for more than 15 years is making sure that whatever we promise, we can also outline and view and show what do we need to develop to make that come true, both week by week, but of course year by year, to make sure that all our schools in our global network are of the highest quality. So Vinette, I think I'll finish off there and then we can take more questions after, I assume. Yes, and now final picture. I think this is something I think some of us love to talk about this as well, but it's what we also have a quite strong program when it comes how we build and support our facilities to make sure that the learning environment is also really creating, that spark for students. It needs to be built in a way so that, the teaching and learning is also about, creating both, the outside with the facilities, but also with the inside. So this is something, but I guess we can do a separate workshop for sometimes when it comes to how we actually build our schools. But so then I stop here. Thank you.
Thanks, Christian. Thank you, Sunita ma'am. I think wonderful insights to have the perfect launching pad for the session. I'm sure the audience would have really gotten good insight on the Kedman program, the Kunskapsskolan and Manavrachna's joint venture vision. We're going to be proceeding with the macro components like franchise landscape expansion, the offerings typically which had just been shared with you on the KED. So just the macro understanding. So under the KED program, the KED management, the KED quality. So you can have a look at the brief, the offerings, the key offerings that are being there under this panels. So under the KED program, under the KED management, under the KED quality, these are precisely the offerings that you will be given as a school. Specifically, a very important aspect of our offerings, the KED Digital, the KED Network, and the KED Academy. Each and every single component really is like a very, very critical part to our success, has been a success. And of course, once we have our partners coming in more and more, I think they'll be getting the more advantage of these ones. So I'll move on to the next. Under the franchise segments, a few segments on the support and the thing which is being offered to the licensed partners. The components under the HR and finance. Yes, we have the HR and recruitment support, the compensation benchmarking, the payroll management guidance. Yes, we're going to be under the MIS support and accounts advisory. Yeah, these very critical part on the project management, the regulatory permissions, the infrastructure, how the entities would be looking at, the vendor contract coordinations, very critical under the KED Digital, the IT infrastructure. In the education segment, yes, the administration, the operations, which is the forte, yes, so administration, the support in terms of the administration, the quality audits, the part of it, the operational process and the policies, and the affiliation process support, also in terms of the purchase guidance and support. Yes, to run an NT, we look at the branding and the marketing. Yes, we'll push up the enrollments, the marketing strategy. We have a strong team to help you with the marketing strategy, the brand building. Of course, how the brand identity support in terms of moving the Kedman Global. In terms of the enrollments, yeah, the lead conversion support, the PR guidance, and of course, to push up these events, all kind of planning support that has been required. A quick one, yes, of course, why investing in education? I'm sure everyone goes through these numbers on a daily basis. So it's like, yes, the education sector, already is witnessing an unprecedented growth. There are rising incomes of the people, the cities, top cities, the per capita incomes, the increasing aspirations of having their child in a better and a much more organized framework. Yes, of course, we are one of the biggest young population. So that always, gives us a good opportunity to have these markets there. The few numbers I can just talk about is these, 10%, more than 10 lakh crore projected market in another 4-5 years. Private K-12 education segment being growing at a compounded growth rate of 7%. 80% of urban parents are now preferring to send their kids to private schools. Of course, these are good aspects to feel positive about why this opportunity would be, positive for anyone who would want to get to do this.
Vineet, if I may add over here
Yeah.
a little bit, I think one of the things that we're seeing is that education has become crucial for, it always was, and I think it's becoming more and more relevant for an Indian parent today. And therefore, you see a pretty high percentage of family income being invested in the space in education. So whether you're talking about a urban city or whether you're talking at a 2-tier or a 3-tier city, there are parents who are aspirational, who want their children to succeed in life, and who are willing to make an investment in their education. And therefore, we see education as a space that is growing very rapidly. What is also very interesting is that if you look at the policies that the government are now introducing, especially with the NEP and the NCF, there is a lot of focus towards changing the quality of education and making education more student-centric and more personalized. So we are at a very strong position today to be able to implement the NEP or implement a personalized learning approach, which most schools will have to go through that trajectory or go through that learning phase. We've been doing it for the last more than 25 years. So therefore, we are very ready to be able to implement everything that the government is at a policy decision having discussions about today. So I think that puts us in a very strong space. Yes, Vineet, sorry to take up a little bit, but yeah, carry on.
No worries, ma'am. I think very rightly said. Yes, the space is there. It's just about the right-minded entities taking up that space. Of course, we had this vision of creating space for undergraduation and post-graduation parents being very concerned on that. But nowadays, yes, we see a lot of shift in thoughts of schooling as the biggest priority. So that makes us really positive about why we can be a good representation in this. So I'll move on. Just again, a few numbers to I think as far as even in the market assessment, as far as the industry standards go, I will see everything going upwards. If you can see from 2023 to another 10 years. So major market size here and the agencies being projection at a good rate. So yes, we come into the picture and we see there is a positive upward trend that's being there in the industry. I'll just quickly be now taking up this, finishing up this and handing over to Rashima ma'am for the enlightening about us on the IB part also. Ma'am, please.
Thank you so much, Vineet, and taking over from my colleagues, Vineet and Sunita. I think it's very important to understand what we spoke about, 250 million school-going children, which means that it's a huge market size. And within that market size of K-12 education, we have the international school segment, which is something that is growing very significantly. And I'm going to talk more specifically about the IB and the Cambridge schools, which seems to have caught the imagination of the Indian population at this point, with a significant amount of growth, wherein we had, if we were to look at in terms of numbers, in 2019, we had 884 schools. Even that, if we go a little bit behind, I think there has been a very significant shift in numbers in international schools. So that is something which is, again, a very big growing market within the K-12 space. If you look at some of the data from the ISC research, it shows a 10% increase in number of schools, which is actually looking at a baseline of from 2019. And in terms of the IB schools in India, we are looking at about 183 authorized schools in 2019. To 258 in 24-25, and currently the number stands at 270, which shows a very sharp and significant increase in the number of IB schools in India, which is about to 41% and above. And that is something which is a very strong number that talks about a market need and a market that is picking up the idea of the international education. Same with Cambridge. If we were to divide it, 461 Cambridge schools in 2019-20, that has gone up to about 800 Cambridge schools. And I know that currently that figure stands above 1,000 schools in India, and it is one of the biggest growing markets in the world today for both Cambridge as well as for the IB, in terms of the increase in percentage of schools in India. Next slide, please, Vineet. And of course, with the number of increase in schools, we have significant amount of increase in number of student enrollment, staff recruitment, fee incomes have also gone up for these schools. And while a large number of geographic concentration has been in Maharashtra, followed by Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, but now this seems to be spreading out in tier 2 cities as well as in other parts of India as well. And I'll show a little bit more about regional divisions. Next slide, please, Vineet. If we look at it, this is the percentage of market share in North, and the maximum number of schools, of course, are in Delhi NCR, but Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan are seeing an equally a good number of growth. In South, we have Karnataka has been the leading state with international schools at Bangalore, followed by Tamil Nadu, Telangana, and Hyderabad. But again, we see many more cities, states where number of IB schools are increasing, and Cambridge schools are also there. When we are looking at West has been something that has been leading. However, North has taken up very well. The maximum number of international schools has been typically in Maharashtra, with cities like Mumbai and Pune leading. And while Gujarat is slowly and surely catching up with the number of international schools in this territory, I think the maximum opportunity, of course, lies in East, where the number of international schools have typically been less, with most of the concentration in West Bengal, Odisha, and Bihar. Central also has about 7% of market share, but again, it's a market that is picking up very well. And moving on, please. Next slide. I think something that Sunita has already referred to, what is it that is causing, what is it pushing the growth of the international school market? I think the very first is the demographics. With 250 million school-going children, which means that the number of students who are going to school has increased, and a large part of this population is in urban areas, which is pushing the demand for these schools. Alongside with it, there is a rising affluence and a middle class expansion, which is looking for a more quality model that allows also the students to, the children who are passing out from these schools to be able to, adjust into global markets. Parents having greater exposure to international markets, globalizations, and working across global companies has also pushed for the rise of international schools. I think something that the international schools really stand for is that it provides a more holistic education, which is something that is not just the domain of international education, and good quality national curriculum schools are also providing holistic education, and parents are now looking for a model of education that is more holistic in nature than rather than just subject knowledge, and that is also pushing the demand for international schools. And I think within that context, quality becomes a very important factor, and having a franchisee of private schools is something that gives you an edge in that market, so that you understand that quality international education is being provided. And these are some of the large reasons why international market seems to be increasing day by day. And I think now a lot of the government policies, the NEP 2020 that has come up, and the NCF, the roadmap to implementation of the new education policy, has also shown alignment with the international curriculums, which is again ensuring that a lot of schools are and parents are looking for international education. Moving on, Vineet. I invite you to take it back. Thank you so much, Vineet.
Thank you, ma'am. I think wonderful. What excites is always is in the last 5-6 years, 40% of increase in the IB school. So I think something which really excites it, parents taking up IB curriculum as a very positive option, unlike only a restricted one, a few cities. But that's a very positive sign, and of course, in terms of the curriculums being offered. So thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening that part from the IB and the Cambridge perspective. We will move ahead with that. Anab, we can take it from this, please. Hello.
Yeah. Thank you, Vineet. I think we come to the SWOT analysis of the Lolo model. So primarily when we decided to launch Kedman Global in the franchisee market, so our main objective is to have more investors or more same-minded people who will come and invest, make their own school. So this is the SWOT analysis of that. So what is the advantages of having a own school, running its own operations, own building, full operational control, higher profit potential, and in the business of school, it is a patient business, and then while we do it, so slowly it is a spin machine. So once we get into this business, we have to be a little bit patience because the school needs to get stable. And once it gets stable, then it is full returns. There is more flexibility because you are the it is your school. You have the decision to make what needs to be done. Obviously, we as a brand will obviously guide you that this needs to be done. And entrepreneurial satisfaction, it because something which is yours will always give you a sense of satisfaction, and lower financial reliance on brand, so you don't have to depend everything on the brand. Some of the opportunities: higher earnings through efficiency. As I said, school business is highly profitable, and but you have to give a lot of time to it. A lot of time and energy has to be given. If any of the investor who is present here first operates a school with us, then for another location he can also do it. That is why it is the scope for multi-unit ownership, localized innovations, um, as the neighborhood, where is the where is the locality, what is the demographic, we can do it as per that. And obviously we are all into the business for making wealth, so that's the wealth creation. The weakness is that it's a huge responsible job because owning a school and also operating a school, because we are dealing with the education of kids. So it's a huge responsibility, and a lot of time is to be given, full focus has to be given over here. So this, I will not call it as weakness. So these are the most important things that while any of the investor, while he invests, should keep this in mind. The business risk is high in the beginning, I will say, because you are entering into a territory if someone is not from education space. But we are also open to all the aspects also, because it is also like a business where you have to understand that what the education system needs and what is our vision. You have to be aligned with us. The high training requirement. So we as a brand will provide you with all the training requirements. So I don't consider this as a weakness. So this is also one of the things. Dependence on local team quality. So you will have your own team, but on the backside, we as a brand will also support you in all the activities that you are going to do. Inconsistent quality risk. So now is the threats. So the competition from company owned outlets. So there must be some other schools who are already there, but that is also temporary. So while you go into it, so while our brand will also help you in establishing your own brand, and that's how you're going to establish your school in your area.
May I just step in here, Arnab,
Yes,
with
ma'am.
that, please? I think one of the things that we wanted y'all as people invested or interested in investing in education is to get an understanding of the different kinds of models that exist in the franchise system, and each one of them have their pros and cons. I think that was what we were trying to kind of share with you at this point of time. So there is, of course, the license owned and the license operated model, wherein you will be owning the business, owning the land, the property, the building, and everything, and you will operate it while we will provide you the academic model and the operational support if you so require, to be able to function and to be able to run the school efficiently and successfully. If you can move to the next slide, Vineet. The other one, of course, is the one where you own, which we call as the loco model, is the one where you are the licensee, you own the building, you own the land and structure. However, we help you operate the school, which is called the loco model. And I think the idea of doing a SWOT for both was for you to understand as investors, what is it that both models offer you and whether that is something that you can choose between the two models and understand which one works best for you, given your strengths, your investment potential, your ability to take risks, as well as the kind of support that you need to make your business successful. I think that's basically what the SWOT model was aiming to provide you with. Arnab, you can take on from there.
Sure, ma'am. I think Vineet, you can move on to the next. I think we can go to the investments part. So this is just a standard proposal what we have made. We are currently looking at schools at 5 acres or 3 acres. So the franchisee fee is INR 75 lakhs plus GST. It is common for all the type of lands. The royalty percentage is 12.5% on the composite fee. The built-up area that we require for a 5 acre is 2 lakh square feet. And if you see the initial investment, it is written 31 crore. It is assumed that you are having already owning a land. And also the 31 crore has come from that we have taken as at around 4,000 rupees construction cost per square feet. But this is flexible and this is dynamic depending on which area we are going to do that. So that is why this number will change. So we are looking at a 30-year period, so where the royalty is around 30, so where the IRR is around 30.5%. If we look at a 10-year IRR, it comes around 18.8%. And the average fee structure, while I've calculated, is around average is 3 lakhs. But again, looking at the demography, we can still have a discussion regarding the fees. But this is the average numbers that I've taken.
And this, of course, is in the under the assumption that these are newly establishing schools.
Yes, ma'am.
You're newly constructing these schools, and therefore we're looking at a land parcel of anywhere between 3 acres to 5 acres.
5 acres.
And we are looking at over anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 students, depending upon the land area and the built-up area that you will construct. And I think we also are open to people who currently have schools and would like to take on a franchise. So we are open to those kind of offerings also within our system.
Okay, Vineet, I think you can take this. I think the finance is done. So I think. So again, this is the typical operating terms. We just discussed this. This is a LOLO where you will have the full control, and it is best for entrepreneurs, and the effort and time is maximum over here. This LOCO is that where we will have the control. The profit potential will be divided, and this is only for high net worth individuals or investors who has a land parcel and doesn't want to operate the school. Okay, next slide, please. So currently we are going pan-India, but our focus regions, as we are based on north, we are trying to go upper north, and also west of India is also a very big market for us. We are also looking at south, but as I say, we are looking for pan-India opportunities. Wherever we find an opportunity, we are ready to explore that. Next slide, please. So this is the breakup of this target cities. Like in north, we are currently looking at Jaipur, Lucknow, and in the west we have looked at. So these are the main cities where these are developing cities that are coming up, like Navi Mumbai, Kharghar, Panvel, and in Pune, Wakad, Kharadi. So these are all the areas that we are looking at. So if anyone or if any of the sales team or the IFCs who are present, so these are the areas in Pune that we are looking at. And also for south, we are also looking at Bangalore. Hyderabad is also a very premium location for us, whereas Gachibowli, the financial district, where it's a premium area where we can set up the school. And in east, we are looking at Kolkata, Bhubaneswar, and Guwahati. So this is the support that we are going to provide to you. In the pre-opening, we are coming up with the project management assistance, like the location shortlisting. Also, we will help you, and also with the layout planning, the interior designing, building setup. Provided if you have an interior also, but still, this is all the support that we are going to provide. The staff hiring and training. This includes the main hirings of the school, which we as a brand are going to fully support you on this. The curriculum and the program setup, the full entire support is going to be given to this. The marketing launch, so we also have a central marketing team who is going to guide you regarding the brand awareness, lead generation, and also how the events has to be done regarding the admission time. And also the operational setup will be helped in alignment with the brand. In the post opening, while the school is operating, we are going to provide the curriculum and the teacher support, the quality model that was discussed earlier in the discussion. So we are going to give you this support, the parent admissions and engagement, which is going to be an ongoing process, and the training and development of the teachers and all the other academic person will be happening in a periodical way. Next slide, please. So this is an ideal partner profile. We are looking, so the main point while we're talking about an ideal partner profile is that we are looking at a person who aligns with our vision, who understands that what we are looking actually, and then the financial implication will come. But the first is that they need to understand that what type of vision we are bringing in and what is the outcome of the school. So the financial, of course, we are so the initial investment is between 15 to 20 crores, and then the additional investment will be done in a staggered manner, that will be happening in a phased manner, so which will automatically be supported by from the cash inflows, that because the school will be already running. Also, the person who has a strong understanding about the demography, and most important is that who wants to tied up with our brand for the next 30 years, because the school business is a generation business. You have to be motivated and aligned with us for the next 30 years. Okay, next slide, please. I think reasons to partner with us, I think we have already discussed in the academic discussion that we have done. So this is just a point that is in that the academic innovation, which is the most important point, and then also I think our USP is mainly on the academic curriculum, on the global network that our Kedman Global brand will give to any of the investors who are willing to set up a new school. I think I can say that in one sentence. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, anyone. And we open the floor for the questions if anyone
Thank you
has.
so
Thank
much.
you, everyone. I think wonderful session. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and thanks so much, everyone. I mean, it was indeed, a great presentation. In fact, you probably have covered almost everything which someone can expect. However, I still feel that somewhere those who have joined, who joined this webinar, I think definitely will have some other questions. In case if we miss, by the way, you still have opportunity. In case if you would like to ask, you can share it in the Q&A. Apart from that, we also have different means to connect separately. I mean, George can share his number in the chat box. George can help you connect with the panel once again, right? But anyways, just a few questions in the chat box in case if you would like to answer them. Maybe Vineet, if you could take this up.
There was one question regarding the fee structure.
Right.
So, can I say?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So there was one question regarding the fee structure. So presently in our current schools, we have a fee of average 3 lakhs. But as I said, it depends on the location, the demography, where are we going to set up the school. But also that we can discuss in detail while we meet in person or on a one-on-one call. There is also a specific baseline to our fees that we will not go down to that range. So there is a specific line, but as of now, our average fee structure is 3 lakhs for our schools.
I think also I'd like to kind of mention over here that it is dependent on the curriculum that you are also offering, because when you look at an international curriculum, the fee structures are usually higher than the CBSE fees. And if you were to look at the CBSE fee structures, since we have schools in smaller towns as well as in the metropolitan cities, we do see a range. However, one of the things that we have seen over a period of time is that when high quality and good quality education is being offered, they come at a price point that I think most parents are willing to pay if you are able to offer them high quality education. I think that's been our experience.
And also we get a few questions like, what level of control do I have over the operational and, the pricing as a franchisee?
I think the most important question will be, of course, what kind of an franchise model are you opting for? Now, if you are choosing to be a franchise model where you are going to be both the owner as well as the operator of the school, you would have a much higher operational autonomy as compared to, of course, a model which requires us being operators. Now, of course, there are guidelines that we will offer because at the end, it is our brand that is going to be in use. And so therefore, when it comes to an operational efficiency, expectations in terms of quality, expectations in terms of pedagogical delivery, teacher quality and teacher training will be things that we will have a say in. However, largely day-to-day functioning, day-to-day management lies with the franchise owner if you are a licensee-owned, licensee-operated model. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. Anna, would you also like to answer, related to the occupancy for the break-even, and also if you're specific with the location? I think the location which we are open for, we already have discussed. We already have shared, but still in case if anyone like Shobha Bhartia is, I guess, from Raipur. So, yeah, we can look into this
Yeah, I have
opportunity.
written that yes, we can obviously look at Raipur also.
Correct.
Yes, I think just to add in that we definitely have been looking at the key locations at our end that those we feel, but I'm sure the people mentioning about locations like Raipur and otherwise know that vicinity quite better than us also. So we definitely trust their wisdom, and of course Raipur is one big potential location. Of course, if in case we have something good, we can always look at that.
Right. Anyone still would like to ask any question? You can share it in the chat box. We will take them up. However, probably we already have answered almost all the questions, and in fact, this overall presentation is, includes almost everything, right? So, but still, I think just 60 minutes is not good enough to get all the answers. My request is to please get in touch with us. You can connect with George, who has already shared in the number in the chat box. You can get in touch with him, and he's gonna, arrange a meeting with the Kedman team. They're gonna help you further understanding the opportunity as well as, all the deep dive discussion about the financials and everything can be discussed. So overall, in case if you look into this opportunity, I think, see, education sector is already booming in India, and we really need a global players to cater to a lot of students in India. Kedman brings in a Swedish personalized learning system, which is already proven globally. So we are not experimenting something, but we are implementing a test in India, which is already, available in rest of other countries. Second, it has a, strong academic background. It is backed by the Manav Rachna, which has almost 30+ years of credibility in the market in the Indian education system. So you get both global expertise as well as the strong local execution. Apart from that, every child, of course, learns at their own pace with goal-based coaching. So it is not just one size fits in all system. It is completely student-centric. So this is what we are bringing to the Indian market. So, a lot of good factors are there. If you're interested, you may connect with us. Just give me a second. There's another question popped. From parents' perspective, when the child comes to high school, do you offer tied up with coaching centers? Arnab, in case if you would like to answer this.
I think I could maybe comment. I mean, what what we have once the students are getting older and really getting close to the academic finals and so forth, we have both like strong, coaching and that type of models that we're using, both of course on an ongoing basis, but very specific also to the final years. We also do some partnerships externally when it comes to really enhancing their both academic choices for the future, but also supporting the final part of the academic year. But we also have our national programs ourselves that we train our students so they are really strongly prepared for the national tests in the end. So we have a quite extensive program when they become older. And depending on the region, we also have local partnerships with if we need with coaching centers, but mainly we have those resources within our own organization.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Christian. So overall, it's a combination of global quality, strong brand backing, premium demand, and a stable long-term business, which makes it very powerful investment opportunity. Anyone interested can call us, and we are going to help further arranging meetings with the Kedman team. So I think that's it for the day, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. First of all the viewers, thank you so much for getting some time that on weekend, staying with us almost an hour. I really appreciate your time. And I would also like to thank everyone on the panel. Christian, thank you so much for joining us, and Sunita ma'am, Nashima, then Vineet, and Arnav. Thank you. Really appreciate
Thank you,
your
Bharat.
time
Thank you,
for
Bharat.
sharing us a great opportunity to the Indian market, into the Indian, adding values to the overall education system. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Thank you.
You
Bye bye.